What is up, RotoGrinders? Nine game MLB DFS slate nonstop. 2 hours talking about the conversation here, breaking it down, taking you guys all the way up the lock on layaway in the bullpen right now for crunch time. We got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, as well as Derek Carty, CEO of the Bat and the Blitz. Kevin Roth, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth as well. Weather seems to be pretty clean. I'll go ahead and drop this report in just a second. In the chat, what's up, chat? Hit that like button. Get comfortable. Don't go anywhere for the next 2 hours. We got you covered. Joining me today, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's TJ Zwarich. What's up, TJ? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Wednesday. Always exciting day when I feel like Wednesday is really the day when the NFL week starts. You know, we get to do the Pick Six show in the evening. I don't really look at a ton until Wednesday, and so feels like we're just kind of it's a Wednesday that feels like a Monday of the football week. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with you. Haven't done as much weekday baseball lately, but I saw an opening on the schedule and thought, damn, I got to hang out with my guy Dean.
Yeah, I was just saying, it feels like it's been a while since we did a baseball show, and this is probably, I'm guessing, unless you're on for Saturday, I don't know, possibly your last baseball show of the regular season?
Still on for Saturday.
Well, there you go. And yeah, you're right. I was doing a lot of football content later on. Later on tonight, 8 o'clock, Pick Six show. Myself, yourself, you're producing. Rebar, Daigle, and also I watched Superman earlier in the day too. We'll be talking about Superman, which I've only watched once. You've probably seen it at this point, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, I imagine. After the football, we talk about it, a movie every single week, and going through the injuries and stuff. And Russ, of course, is benched. Jackson Dart season going forward. An entirely, a different backfield as well with Tracy being out. Lots of injuries to sort through. A lot of questionable stuff too. Mike Evans might get swapped out for Chris Godwin, but that's all information for later on tonight. You got me excited about football, and yes, I'm just like you. Basically, Wednesdays when I fully dive in for football stuff. But DFS, only thing we care about in DFS, TJ. What is it? Today and today only. And today, we can make money in baseball. So we're talking about baseball, the 9-gamer tonight. I was talking about it at you pre-show and some good pitching. We're still battling out. We're jockeying for position when it comes to some playoff spots. Your Blue Jays are in, but they got a chance. You got a shot to take over the Yankees. As far as the division, you're battling for playoff positioning. Detroit is an all-time collapse potentially. Cleveland has just been on an incredible roll. I saw, according to Fangraphs, they're both likely to make the playoffs at this point now, both at 80%. The Astros, they're still fighting as well, 40% chance taking on the Athletics. A lot of teams, of course, have been long out of it for a long time. Boston not officially in, but likely to get in very, very soon, if not tonight, soon enough. And producer Steve's Mets, they had a big comeback last night, so they've upped their chances to make the playoffs as well. 68% currently, according to Fangraphs. We've seen the Reds kind of fall back at 20%. But, yeah, 9-gamer, some really good pitching. Starting with Crochet, I would say. Tough matchup there against your Blue Jays because they don't really strike out. So probably subdues the ceiling to some degree. Once again, just like last night, we saw, a really cheap Bryce Miller take on the terrible Rockies, and it didn't really go great. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't what you necessarily wanted. Same deal where it feels like we have another pitcher in Seattle, great ballpark, that's better skills than Miller, that's still a little bit too cheap, and still the same terrible opponent. So Castillo probably is going to be the most popular pitcher on the slate. We're showing DeGrom right there, which is a little bit surprising to me, but kind of neck and neck. DeGrom, another good pitcher. Obviously, Max Fried was stellar last time out, taking on the White Sox. Sonny Gray, professional pitcher in a good ballpark. Your boy Mad Max got his face fully punched in last time out. Certainly looking for a big bounce back. Probably a quick hook if the things go awry. But he's also grabbing some ownership, but it's a little bit surprising to me. And then I didn't even mention Blake Snell. I didn't mention Hunter Brown. And this all sort of ties into what I said to you pre-show. Is like, man, the offenses today. There's the Yankees. They're the only team with a team total above 5. They're also facing a lefty opener. They're going to do some pinch hit stuff, I imagine. These games matter. We saw pinch running last night for Ben Rice when he gets on late. They did bury him a little bit in the lineup in the hopes that, I guess, maybe Fraser Ellert's out of the game. Well, probably not because he's in the 5 hole. But Jazz is down to the 7 hole, left on left. Ellert basically 1 inning, maybe 2, depending on. And then we're just going to get basically a bullpen game out of the White Sox. But Yankees only team the team total above 5. It feels like pitching is running this slate, but you never really know. This is how I see it pre-flop. How about yourself? TJ, how are we seeing the old overview, the screenshot of tonight's 9-gamer?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit pre-show, and I don't know. I originally said like easy cash game slate, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to go about it. Like, I don't know if I worded that correctly, but more so just to clear, these are the best plays. These are going to have the highest ownership. These are less good plays, and they don't have as good, and they have much lower ownership. Like, it's just to clear, you can pivot to something not quite as strong, and by doing so, you can get it quite a bit lower owned, but just kind of a clear top spot day today. Outside of, I think, Derek Crochet, that's the one really good option that I think is going quite low owned today. The Blue Jays have been sputtering a little bit. Their 4 or 5 game lead on the Yankees turned into a 1 game lead on the Yankees. So they're just barely holding on to the division lead right now. And they got a lot of injuries they're dealing with. Anthony Santander is back tonight, which hopefully should help the Blue Jays, but also put some more strikeouts in that lineup. And so I think Crochet is a really strong tournament option tonight.
As far as strikeouts on the year, TJ, when it comes to Crochet, as far as this slate, and the second one is Ellard, that doesn't really count. I'm not counting that because, again, he's just going to pitch an inning or so. Snell, he certainly has the upside to be the best pitcher on the slate as well. And Dodgers, they're not locked into everything just yet, so they might let him go 6+. I was kind of surprised to see Ohtani go 6 last night. So they let Ohtani go 6. Wasn't throwing a no-hitter, but they let him go 6 innings last night. It is a slate that is chock full of really, really good pitching options. And Luis Castillo, not the biggest K guy, but, getting to face Colorado in Seattle, I think it's going to be mostly righties. We're not going to have all the lineups necessarily. Maybe when crunch time jumps on. Interesting, we're kind of the breakdown. It's 4 early, 5 late. There are 5 games, a lot of games are going on the West Coast. I think it's 5 games, 9:38 and beyond. So, yeah, if you need some late swap stuff or late swap ability, I think it's an interesting slate to do that based upon how your early stuff goes. If you're locked in on some chalk and your early stuff kind of blows up your face like half your lineups, if 3-4 hitters in your lineup did nothing, there's no point to stay at where you're at. Just kind of shuffle out into something else and hope you get lucky and try to salvage and scramble. But what are we playing tonight, TJ? We doing 150? We doing 1? How many lineups are playing tonight?
Just 1, but I'll still do the same kind of plan through as though I was playing 150. I like having that template built and ready to go 4 shows anyways, just because I kind of feel like it adds a little bit of a different angle to talk things through with, and it helps my process just because that's usually what I do for baseball anyways. And so I'm only going to play 1, but I like to save up all my entry fees to go a little bit bigger for NFL season. So I'm only going to play 1, but I will still kind of have the research process finished for a 150 build.
Yeah, the Crochet thing, you talk about his K rate and how he's going to be low owned. On DK, we have him right now, assuming this holds relatively. DeGrom, 37%, Castillo, 34%, Fried, 26%, Gray, 23%, Crochet, 17%. So if he's going to be 17% or so, I do like that. And I'm not making 150 either, but I would certainly get over that. And also Snell, the same point. Snell is only 11%. I know it's not the best ballpark in the world, but Hunter Brown is pretty, he's just a really good pitcher. He's coming in at 8%. Also, we have another game in Wrigley today that the Weather Edge is telling us. I know what happened yesterday. They defied the odds, and there was a ton of runs. Was it 7-6, 9-7, something like that? I know there's several homers as well, but Weather Edge really likes the pitching environment. I'm not necessarily saying the roster of the pitchers there, but it's more of like I'm not terribly excited about the hitters. Giving a refresh. I want to see if anything changed. Every hour we do get a new an update. Let's see. Giving a refresh. Yeah, so 123 games here, TJ, as far as Chicago, Wrigley, 35% hit and homers. That is a big boy number. A 15.8% hit and runs, a decrease in runs in 123 games of similar weather, 65 to temp, 12-mile-per-hour wind, basically coming in from left, center, 59 to do. So I don't know if I'm necessarily getting to the pitchers there. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting the Tong or Boyd. Unlikely. I'm not saying you can't do it, but once again, it's a 7 total collectively. The Mets, of course, they're battling for they're jockeying for a playoff spot, and the Cubs. I think the Cubs are officially in, right? They won. Yeah, they won. They clinched the wild card already. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so let's sort of run down some players and let's see if there's anybody we missed in the chat. If you want us to talk about somebody, by all means, feel free to fire it off. We have to appreciate TJ, the diehards that are still with us. Like anybody that's still hanging out with chat at this point, they are the legit diehards and grind. And they call it a grind, and I think it's mostly true with baseball and like the last couple weeks of basketball. The last couple weeks of basketball is really just the truest sense of the word as far as a grind. But this is this is what 5 games left, 4 games left. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 5. Yeah, 5 games left. Still a lot of stuff waiting to be settled, but in your one main lineup, are you going to go double barrel? Are you going to take the chalk that is Luis Castillo? Are you still deciding? Is your decision still in flux?
Decision is in flux in terms of who my SB2 will be, but I feel pretty confident that I'll be going with Garrett Crochet tonight. Chance I may double barrel. I do like the idea of going with a Blake Snell or a Hunter Brown. And just double spending up because my top stack today is fairly inexpensive as well. So my top option overall is Garrett Crochet. I think Luis Castillo is the clearest, most obvious cash game play ever, and absolutely the guy that I don't want to touch in tournaments. We're projecting for 35% ownership. I think it'll be higher. He's just always a guy that is fine. He's good against righties. He's not good against lefties. He doesn't strike out anywhere near as much as he used to, but he's probably going to give you 6 innings. It is the Rockies. We see spike games from pitchers basically every time they face the Rockies. But at high ownership, I don't think I'm going to be going with any Castillo. He's the clear optimal cash game choice. He's a guy that I think maybe you go with if you're playing a stack that is totally off the board, 2, 3, 4, 5% owned. But in tournaments, I don't really want to get to Castillo at that ownership.
The counterpoint for Castillo is how dramatic his splits are and how many righties he's expected to face and that ballpark as well. So I'm going to be – I get the story of like not wanting to play that chalk and there's great pivots.
This isn't a situation where I think Castillo is bad and he is bad chalk and I think he's going to fail. Yeah. It's just a situation where there's enough other good options that I think I can just find somebody who can beat him. It's not that I think he's going to have negative points today. It's just that I think he could have 20, and I'm going to try and find 2 guys to get 30.
Trying to see. Obviously, we don't have a Colorado lineup just yet. That's a West Coast game. A lot of West Coast games. But, yeah, just to the point, though, Castillo on the season against righties, 24.7% Ks, 3.4% walks. So, like, the Ks are really good. Pretty good. I wouldn't say really good, but they're better than average. The walks, the control is spectacular. The ISO is awesome at 128. And at 266 WOBA. I believe he's been distinctly better at home than on the road, which will kind of make sense as well. And these Rockies, the projected lineup, really impatient, 5.6% collective walk rate. That's bad. 26.8% K rate, which is terrible. I see both sides of it, but I'm and my lineups are still to be determined. I make them after the show while listening to crunch time. But I imagine I'm going to be playing some Castillo, but there are some real pivots. You mentioned Crochet taking on your Blue Jays. And, the tricky part with facing Toronto is they're really contact heavy. Although, like you said, Santander's in there, Varsho's in there. Varsho left on left. He's been so much better versus righties. I'm kind of surprised. Is somebody hurt? Well, why is Varsho playing today? Does he generally start against lefties? I feel like he doesn't always start.
A lot of guys are hurt. That's one of the reasons they're
Who's the guy that's hurt that he's filling in for?
The biggest one is Bichette. That's kind of throwing everything in flux. But I don't know off the top of my head who is available and who is not. But they've just been. I know this is Santander's first game back, and Bichette is still out, and that has had them like kind of in some really difficult roster positions for what they're doing going into playoffs here.
Ty
who they're
France
going to
also
hold on
dinged.
to, who they're going to not hold on to. So they're still like not only down guys to put into the lineup, but are also still kind of piecing guys in different places, trying to figure out who they want to keep for their playoff roster.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as good a lineup he can get against Toronto because, like you said, Santander, a lot of power historically, but this year it hasn't happened. But I'm not ready to say the power is gone. But the Ks are there, 32% Ks. Davis Schneider, 28% Ks, and Varsho, really, really good against righties and small sample because he doesn't face a lot of lefties. 70 ISO, which is pretty terrible, and a K rate of 28.6%. Everybody else around them, they're all in the green as far as being a contact heavy team, but a little bit more than usual. It's still not ideal for the strikeouts, and I like the idea of paying up for Crochet as well. How do you feel about DeGrom?
DeGrom is another guy that I'm looking to fade in tournaments today. Like earlier in the day, we had Castillo going significantly higher owned in projections than DeGrom is. DeGrom's kind of caught up now, but I'm looking at him with that same sort of idea as Castillo for tournaments where, yeah, in cash, maybe you just play DeGrom and Castillo together. But in tournaments at that high of ownership, Texas has nothing left to play for. I don't really see him being pushed very much. And without that potential ceiling, I just don't think it's necessary in tournaments. I think we push for ceiling tonight, especially with guys like Garrett Crochet and Blake Snell on the slate.
That's sort of how I feel about DeGrom as well. They got him signed for the next 2 years, $38 million. He's going to be 38 years old. The $37 million at 38 years old. He'll be 39 in 2027 for $37 million. And there's no upside. Only something really bad and horrible can come out of like him this start today. And I'm not saying you can't play him, but I sort of feel like, there's no reason in the world to push him outside of like he feels good going into the offseason and he strikes out 10 and 7 innings or something like that. But it just seems to me, and this is just a feel like, why would they push him, right? There's just no upside. He went 5 innings last time. He did throw 92 pitches. And I just don't know if he goes beyond 5 unless he's like super efficient. So I'm probably going to be a little less in the field than DeGrom, but I think he's going to be good. I just don't know if he has that. Did you hear that? Like that point? Like it doesn't make any. His history of injuries, how old he is, how much money they have committed to him the next 2 years. It would just be a disaster going into the offseason if something happened. And I'm not rooting for that, obviously. It's just whatever percent chance. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. But who knows if they're even considering that? I have no idea. All right.
It's definitely in the realm of possibility, though, and that's for that reason. I just don't want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to like make lineups paranoid, right? But it's just, I don't think you are, right? You're supposed to be bold at times, and as Cheese says, like your lineup's probably going to lose anyway, so you might as well. Not that there's a chance playing DeGrom; he's going to be really popular, so that's a reason for me to get away from it a little bit, What about Max Fried? Max Fried was spectacular last time out. They need the win there in New York. The K rate's not amazing. It's fine. A lot of ground balls, good control, 23.5% as far as the K rate. Again, not spectacular. But, he's in Yankee Stadium. By the way, Yankee Stadium was in I guess this was in Superman. It's like it took me out of it for a second. I'm like, oh, Yankee Stadium. Minus 384 favorite. That's a big boy number. You don't really see it. You don't really see him that high. But it's the Yankees and it's the White Sox, and I guess that kind of sort of somewhat makes sense. I'm not saying to bet the Yankees, but yeah, I mean, we don't need the win points. We'll take them, sure. How do you feel about Fried?
So I like Fried as a pivot off of DeGrom today. I don't like him as much as Garrett Crochet or even Hunter Brown for large field tournaments, but I do still think Max Fried is an interesting play. I would be keeping him in the pool for 150 lineups. I would worry a little bit just on. I feel like Luis Castillo and Max Fried are kind of the exact same tonight, but Castillo's $2,000 cheaper. And so I do worry about playing Fried, but fading Castillo, and then just ending up with the same amount of points and thinking, wow, I could have got a much better bat in that lineup. He's more somebody I'd want to play alongside Castillo and just feel like I am locking in 40 points for my pitcher position today on DraftKings and feeling pretty confident about that. But I would I'd be worried to use him as a double barrel option just because I feel like there are cheaper options that could match him tonight, if that makes sense. And so in the pool, but not one of my favorites.
Sonny Gray is another old that's making his last start of the season for a team that doesn't matter. He's in a great ballpark against the Giants, and they do have him signed next year, St. Louis, 25 mil, and he's going to be, what is he going to be next year? 37 years old. You can kind of make the same argument you're making with DeGrom. His injury history obviously not the same, so I don't know. I don't know if they care about that kind of stuff, but as far as how much they'll push him. The other argument you make with Sonny Gray is like, when does he ever break this slate? He's always just fine. He's generally just fine. Did he make your lineup? No.
He has broken the slate before, but what I was going to say is he's never been pushed, right? Like he's never really going for more than 90 pitches anyways. He's gone, 91, 95, 91 the last few games. But in general, we're seeing 80 to 85 pitches from Sonny Gray. And he's kind of priced as though we're going to see some restrictions because he's old and they don't really need him. But he's had these restrictions on him all year long. And so 8,500, I think, is actually a pretty good price for Sonny Gray. I'd put him like kind of right in the Castillo range, and I do like him as a pivot off of him. But again, it's just one of those guys that I feel like is probably going to get about 20 points. So that's what doesn't have him in my top tier. He would make my player pool, but not land in my top tier of pitchers.
He dropped a CGSO on Cleveland earlier in the year with 11 strikeouts and 89 pitches. So a Maddox. It was a complete game shutout. 50.6 DK points. So like he's had a few games here and there, a couple in the 30s as well. But generally I don't see him as somebody that can break the slate, but I also don't see him as somebody that's going to hurt me. He's usually going to be at least fine. So, if I land on Sonny Gray, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, you ever thrilled to play Sonny Gray? I don't think so, but you're not going to okay, I have to redo my lineup because I'm landing on Sonny Gray. No, it's just like, okay. Sonny Gray is.
Again, like similarly to Max Fried, just playing Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo, I get it. Like you're giving you can afford to stack the Yankees with those two guys, and you're probably getting 35 to 40 points out of your pitchers.
Derek's asking about Kolek. You have any interest in Kolek tonight?
No, not somebody I'd be looking to. I think there are a couple cheap options that I like better, so wouldn't be getting to any Kolek tonight. I do actually like when we'll get there for offenses, but I wrote up the Angels as my sneaky stack in the expert survey today.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the reason why he's saying Kolek is he's facing the Angels because the Angels, you lead in the variance, some homers, but also a lot of strikeouts. The projected lineup 26.5%. We know what their K is. Just a ton of strikeouts. Not that Kolek is a good strikeout pitcher, 17.2% of the season, but you'd imagine you get a little bit of a bump. All right. Anybody else we should acknowledge the existence? We didn't talk about Snell. How do you feel about Snell? He's kind of sort of in that same similar mold as Crochet, although I don't think he's reliable as Crochet, but he's going to be less owned.
Yeah, I love Snell for tournaments tonight. I've been off Snell most of the season just because he's been pretty chalky almost every time that he's been on the slate. Like he's been fairly cheap most of the season, and I just don't like Blake Snell at highly owned. Like I've always had my own sort of Blake Snell rule similar to Cheese's Robbie Ray rule. And so I just don't like playing him when a lot of people are getting to him. And so because of that, I love him tonight because he's going really low owned and he's not projecting really great. Like you said, the Dodgers aren't quite locked in yet. I think he is an awesome tournament play.
They're asking about Jonah Tong. We talked about that being a good pitching environment tonight to take on the Cubs. He's pretty cheap. They're talking about his ERA in the season. I don't think that's correct, is it? No, is that his ERA is 1.7 points. Expected. Yeah, so he's been unlucky.
ERA is 1.74 lower than his actual ERA.
Yeah, well, his ERA is 6, but yeah, 1.62 homers per 9, and it's 16 innings. Like, what I don't know what to get out of 16 innings, but the Ks have been good. Although the Ks, if you want to dissect 16 innings, he's got a 29% K rate with 8.6% swinging strike rate. And that doesn't line up. That doesn't, to me, that tells me those Ks are fraudulent. But, we'll see. He is cheap and he's in a good ballpark. Is he somebody, I guess it's kind of a direct pivot away from Severino. Not even necessarily, you're saving even more. But I don't know how much I need it. But if I'm running 150, I'm not going to hate it. I guess it's fine. Quick hook potentially, though, if things go bad.
Really cheap in a great wind and weather environment. So I do absolutely think he is viable if you're going to go for a cheap pitcher. He is one of 2 cheap pitchers I think I would be at least a little bit interested in. So I don't think I would be going cheap in all that many lineups today, but if I did, I think Jonah Tong would be my first choice.
Yeah, he had 2 usable scores. One where he just completely destroyed your lineup. He didn't make it out of the first inning. Yeah, Steve's talking about there in chat. And he had one where he was okay at Cincinnati. But, yeah, he was good versus San Diego in 5 innings. He hasn't made it beyond 6.
It can happen if you just, can't put the ball over the plate and you're walking everybody, but it's hard to really blow up in one of these Wrigley Wing games.
Yeah, and again, there is a quick hook because they if it's not going well, he's going to be gone quickly. But, that's what you're signing up for, I suppose. The Mets can't afford to just let him stay out there and just get completely shellacked if he can't subdue the bleeding. All right. Anybody else we should mention as far as pitchers? I know we mentioned some other guys in passing. Kikuchi, Gordon, Brubaker, Severino, Ryan Nelson, probably not against the Dodgers. Taj Bradley, what an enigma he is.
Taj Bradley, 6K would probably be my next choice for just a cheap option. We know the upside is in him, even though it's been coming few and far between. And then he's just only 6K. That's just really cheap. We talk about Texas not having much to play for. Real hand in the imaginary dirting it. Maybe they have some kind of they all went out. They got drunk because their season's over. And so they're going to be hungover. Just making that up. Don't actually use that as a reason to play Taj Bradley today. But I do think just because of how cheap he is, he would be the one I would go with. Matthew Boyd as an option just because it's a Wrigley Wing game, but I think he's too pricey for a guy going up against the Mets. And then I have briefly mentioned him a few times, but at only 9,200, I get the park sucks for pitchers, but I really like Hunter Brown for tournaments at only 9,200. This is the guy to me at a similar price to Jacob deGrom that can smash deGrom's price tag for almost the exact same lineup. You can run a near, play a Yankee stack, play a chalky lineup, but do Hunter Brown instead of Jacob deGrom, and that could be different enough in a single entry tonight.
I didn't quite understand Minnesota trading for Bradley. I wasn't really sure because they traded away their entire bullpen. Their season's over. I guess they, and a lot of people, he's got, scouts have loved him for years, and just 3 of his last 6 games in the negative. He's been bad. They traded for him and then threw him in the minors. Very strange.
He's 24.
I know. I guess I just feel like they can fix him. They look at him like I can fix this guy. Maybe they can. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Stay tuned. But it was an odd. They're not the kind of team. I guess there's a reclamation project, which is again 24 reclamation. He came up really early then. He must have been in baseball at 22 on the Rays. He must have started pretty young. We did get the Angels lineup, by the way. They're telling us here in chat that Trout's not in it. Seanwell, Ward, Moncada, Adele, Rengifo, Moore, Peraza. You also got the weaker catcher and Rivero and Teodosio. That is not a good Angels lineup, by the way. I mean, I know Trout's been scuffling this year. Is he at 400? Is he sitting on 400? Did he hit 400? I think he did.
He did.
I think we finally got there. But that is not the best iteration of the Angels lineup. So, maybe I don't know.
I don't think I would do it, but I don't think you're stupid to roll out Kolek against them. I don't think that's bad or wrong. I think that is a fine, cheap tournament option, as fine as Tong or Bradley.
I don't have any context beyond what producer Steve is saying in chat. Teriyaki or garlic parm? Are we talking wings? What are we talking about?
Alex okay. Chad says Wing Wednesday. What sauce are y'all on? I typically would like to get 2 different ones. You know, maybe like a dry rub and a saucy one. But I am a honey garlic guy myself.
Honey garlic. Okay. Sometimes they're so messy. Like there's too saucy.
They're messy for sure. Especially if I'm getting a boneless. Like I know boneless wings are just nuggets. But guess what? I love nuggets.
They're just as good, if not better. Like everybody's lying. It's easier too.
Yeah, I like them more. And so like
less messy.
A honey garlic boneless wing, you take a fork, you dip it in some ranch. Like that to me is as good as it gets.
Hot and honey, sweet chili. Now everybody's just kind of throwing out their favorite wing, their wing sauce. Yeah, teriyaki garlic parm, pretty good selections, I would say. Yeah. And you got a flat? Are you a flat or drum, or you don't care?
Flat.
Flat.
I'm a flat guy.
All right. Anything else as far as pitchers? I think we basically talked about everybody that's worth talking about. Anything else as far as pitchers, or shall we scoot along?
Could be Travis in chat saying he thought I was better than that with the boneless wings. Look, I don't understand the bone-in wing supremacy. I'm sorry, I want more chicken.
I don't get it either.
That I would like more food, more meat, without a bone in the middle of it. I apologize that I just enjoy chicken so much that I would like more of it.
It's a weird. I don't understand like the big bone in agenda either. I don't, and I'm fine, whatever. But
I understand
messy,
the whole like,
more work.
It's not wings thing. I get that. Like it's chopped up chicken breast. It's not wings, but it's in terms of like which I would rather choose. It's boneless for me.
All right. You want to give a summary? Because some people, you wouldn't believe this, TJ, but people don't necessarily join the show at 5 o'clock on the East Coast right at the dot. They probably missed some of the conversation. Can you give them the old summary as far as pitching tonight?
Luis Castillo in the ultimate great spot. I think he's going to be highly owned today. I mean, he obviously is going to be highly owned today, but I think it may even be more than what we're currently projecting. To me, he's the obvious, clear cash game guy. But unless I'm playing an way off the board stack, I think somebody I want to get off of in tournaments. Jacob deGrom, Rangers have nothing left to play for. That's a clear fade for me. Yes, I still think you can play him in cash games, but in tournaments, that is a full fade, X button, no Jacob deGrom for me whatsoever. My favorite spend up pivots. I love Garrett Crochet. He's my top option tonight. Blue Jays have been playing really poorly. They're dealing with injuries. I think this is a nice spot for Crochet, especially because they have some higher strikeout bats in that lineup. Hunter Brown, one of my favorite tournament pivots today, only 9,200 on DraftKings. Really, really like his price tag. Max Fried, Sonny Gray, fine, but they're going to be fairly highly owned too. Not super high ceilings, but two guys that you're probably going to get pretty close to 20 DraftKings points from. If I have to go cheap, I think my first choice is Jonah Tong, but I think Taj Bradley and Stephen Kolek are in play if you're playing a lot of lineups. My ideal tournament pairing would be Crochet and Hunter Brown.
Is that for single entry? Because Alan was asking that question. For single entry, you like to pair those two?
Yeah,
Brown,
that's what I think I'm going to be going with tonight.
Yeah. All right. And we'll talk about the hitters in just a second, some stacks. You were kind enough to make today's tier board. TJ, you've been on a mission to watch all the great movies that you either seen when you were too young to appreciate or you just never saw for whatever reason. So
I got to say, before we even pivot to that, I am so mad that I decided, hey, I would love to just hop on a Grinders live show with my guy Dean today, because although I am enjoying this, PlayStation's state of play right now, and I have been waiting for the freaking Wolverine trailer from Insomniac for years, since they gave us this little tease 2 years ago, and then nothing. It just streamed on the state of play, and I can't believe I missed it. Happy to be here, but I've been waiting for that for a long time, and I can't wait to go check it out after.
So help me understand. I know the meme of the guy like Wolverine staring at his phone or something. I don't know what he's staring at. Is this what drop? A trailer for a video game? A trailer for a movie?
Yeah, so that was a tease. That came from a teaser.
Okay.
For like, there's a thing of him sitting at a bar, and it was just like people walk in, then he pulls his claws out, and that was just like a quick teaser from a game, a quick teaser for a game that got announced over 2 years ago, and then just radio silence. They announced it and just radio silence, and so finally we're getting this game from the same people who made the Spider-Man games.
Oh, the Spider-Man games are great. Is there no Wolverine game? I feel like there's not one, right? Yeah, there's the meme.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was. As soon as you said, I said yes, but
that's what I was picturing.
Yeah, nothing to do with the game or anything.
Okay, but yeah, that should be good, because if it's the Spider-Man people, those games I thoroughly enjoy. Okay, let's talk about some tiers. Tell the people how we came to today's tiers category, TJ.
Yeah, so the last time I was on GrindersLive, it was right at the beginning of when I started this movie quest at the beginning of August, where I wanted to watch as many classic, good, critically acclaimed, or with a big name actor, people just consider, formative must-watch movies as I can, that I've either have watched once as a kid, a teenager, didn't really fully watch it critically and really pay attention, or movies I hadn't seen at all. And so I've been not keeping on that pace every day, but for an average, pretty close to watching one movie a day ever since the beginning of April. I had wanted to watch 2 a day on weekends, but I've just found myself way busier on weekends than I am on weekdays. And so I'm typically watching 1 or 2 a day on weekdays, and then none on the weekends. But last time we had a list of kind of my top options, 1 through 5, when I had just started. Now I'm deeper into it, so I picked the ones that I've watched over the last 2 weeks and ranked it. The top 1 and 2 are top ones. Like tier 2 is a very close to a tier 1. Tier 5 is an award darling film that I did not like at all. And tier 3 and 4 are, well, you can see why they're not in the same tier as 1 and 2. And so number 1, I had The Prestige, which I'm quickly realizing as I have started this journey that I think Christopher Nolan might be my favorite director.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Just because like Dark Knight might be my favorite film ever, and The Prestige and Interstellar might be my 2 favorite movies of all of the great movies that I've watched in these last 2 months. So I have The Prestige at number 1. Incredible film. Not going to talk about it too much because I wouldn't want to spoil anything. The Departed, another absolutely incredible film. It was tough to rank that as a tier 2 because that's very much a tier 1 movie, but I did like The Prestige better. Dazed and Confused, a perfect movie for not having to pay too much attention and just being able to get some work done during it. And it's a lot of fun. It's silly. Risky Business was good.
Matthew McConaughey's big break. That was McConaughey's first movie. Just kind of, his role expanded. If you were kind of dig into it, he kind of made friends with Linklater, I think, on the set, the director. By the way, just not to cut you off, but you have Nolan, Scorsese, Linklater, and Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know who directed Risky Business, but that's some heavy hitters as far as some directors. But continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. And I am really excited for PTA's next movie.
One Battle After Another.
It's in theaters coming out this weekend. Very excited for that. Or no, just came out this weekend. I don't remember what day it is.
I think it's coming out this weekend.
Risky Business. I still have this as a 4-star movie. Like, I am not saying Risky Business as bad. I just liked it less than the other ones on this list. Like, I had Dazed and Confused also as a 4-star, but I think I liked it a little bit more. I didn't realize the full extent of the plot of Risky Business as I was diving into it. I really only knew it for like the Tom Cruise in the living room, old time rock and roll scene.
Of course.
And so it was, I thought it was really interesting how I was kind of thrown off at the beginning of it with the score. Like as I'm watching with the score, it's like, why are you treating this like a horror movie that is so crazy suspenseful in these situations that are not that? And then I realized, like, from a perspective of a teenager trying to not get in trouble, it is horrifying. It is that suspenseful. It does feel that way. And so I did enjoy it. It's a 4-star movie for me, but just not quite on this list. It ranked 4th. Licorice Pizza I didn't really enjoy. I still have just 3 stars. There was a few things cinematically that were pretty cool, but Licorice Pizza was not one that I enjoyed.
I liked it more than you did, but it's not my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. A great cameo by Bradley Cooper in that movie. I don't know if you remember, Bradley Cooper was spectacular in Licorice Pizza, but it's not my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. But it's also the competition's really, really tough. It might get even tougher because One Battle After Another is supposed to be one of the best movies we've seen in a while. All right, let's go ahead and throw some teams in some tiers. Crunch time coming through in about a half hour or so we got plenty of time. Anything on chat's mind, by all means, feel free to fire it off. I'm going to have my eye on chat. Hit that like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Hey, Spidey, is he checked out for the season? Is Spidey
He's here. He's ready to go. Every 50 likes, I forgot to bring it up. Every 50 likes, we got Spidey bombs coming and ready to rock. So first one in 2 likes. So we were getting close to the first Spidey bomb. Yeah, we're going to have him ready to rock for the people.
All right, Yankees at home versus the White Sox. Biggest favorite in the board, almost minus 400. Biggest team total on the board, 5.5. They are facing a lefty, at least to start things. It's Fraser Ellard. He's going to go maybe an inning or two, and it's going to be a mishmash. Who really knows what's coming out of that Chicago bullpen? They do have a lot of lefties for what it's worth, and they did start a lot of lefties as well. So I guess they weren't really afraid of Ellard because, again, one time around at most. Grisham, the lefty. Bellinger cracked the lineup. Rice is in there. Jazz as well as McMahon. White Sox, a Corey Julks sighting. Remember him? He's back. Shout out to Corey Julks. I see. Oh, well, look at that. I got a sneak peek as what the first Spidey bomb is. I guess you're letting the producer Steve know. We'll throw it up there on the screen. But once we hit the appropriate amount of likes, but do tell me, the Yankees, the White Sox, where are they going on the board?
We do have enough likes now, so keep hitting that like button. Get us up to 100 likes for another one. But Spidey bomb number 1. Isaac Paredes plus 425. One of my favorite DFS plays of the slate as well. Oh, I haven't been putting that one up when I give out Spidey bombs. I forgot about this. Nice to see that graphic back up and rolling. Shout out to producer Steve, the best in the biz. Yeah, Isaac Paredes plus 425, Spidey bomb number 1. In terms of this first game, as one, they are the best team on the slate, but 2, as a significant emotional hedge, we got to put the Yankees up in the prestige as number 1. They're cooking a little bit. The Blue Jays are sucking. It is not feeling real great going towards the end of the season. Yes, we clinched a playoff spot, but I really, really would like to see the Blue Jays hold on to this division, and they are not playing their best baseball right now. So the Yankees, however, are putting up some runs, and it's just a incredible spot for Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge. They're the 2 top bats on the slate. Aaron Judge, it's not that hard to get up to him today. We got some cheap bats. We got some really good pitchers who are only in the 8 to 9K range. And so Judge and Stanton, 2 of the very best bats on the slate. Goldschmidt's cheap. You got some lefties in there that are going to probably be pretty low owned because they're lefty, but who really cares if it's lefty? Bellinger hits lefties really well. No one's going to play Jazz batting 7th at $5,500. I think that's a strong tournament play. And then Ben Rice batting 5th today. He's fairly cheap as well. So the Yankees are the top stack on the slate. The White Sox, I'm going to put them in the licorice pizza tier all the way at the bottom, just because I never really want to stack against Max Fried. Except for that one little period every year where it seems broken for a couple games. I like to get into at least for one of them. But other than that, I don't really ever want to stack against Max Fried.
I was trying to figure out who might be coming in after Ellard for the White Sox. And again, there's 5 lefties. They got 5 lefties in that bullpen, 5 righties as well. They just called up Jonathan Cannon from the minors, and he's been a starter before. I didn't check to see his game log in the minor leagues, but I know Dave wrote he thought it might be Cannon as well, the righty, but who knows? Who knows what we're gonna get? But Ellard's basically an inning or 2, and then just a smorgasbord of Chicago relievers. But I too like the Yankees, and they're the clear and obvious best team on the board. It's nothing profound there. But let's move along. It's Boston taking on your Blue Jays. Playoff implications here. Playoff seeding. Max Scherzer, fresh off getting his face absolutely shellacked, absolutely punched in last time out, taking on the Boston Red Sox. Derek Carty. We know the deal with Max Scherzer this year. The lefty power numbers have been, pretty goofy. If you pull up the old plate IQ against lefties, a 286 ISO allowed the lefties, a 365 WOBA. That is too much. The lefty power is not necessarily amazing on Boston. You got Duran, Yoshida's not a power guy. Nate Lowe, he's got some power, and Ibar this year is actually shown a ton of power versus righties. 245 ISO. How do you feel about Boston and Toronto? Weekend lineup with their injuries as well.
Yeah, Brady batting 8th just seems like a foolish decision.
It's weird.
We didn't mention him at pitchers, but I actually think Max Scherzer is viable tonight just because of the lineup that Boston has thrown out. 5 righties, a few lefties near the back of the lineup. I don't love him, but I do think he is somewhat slightly viable as a 150 max pitcher you keep in the pool. I'm going to have Boston in tier 3, Dazed and Confused. I would have had them higher if we would have seen a more lefty heavy, even lefty near the front of the lineup type of lineup for the Red Sox today. I really like Jarren Duran. I think he's great. Outside of that, though, I do think it'll be a low-owned stack to pick the back of the lineup and play Abreu and Nathaniel Lowe and get some Yoshida in there. I would prioritize the lefties, but some Duran with the back half of the lineup, I do think makes for a very sneaky tournament stack tonight.
You talking wraparound? Is that what you're saying?
Talking some wraparound. Getting some Duran.
781?
Low.
9?
Abreu. I mean, Narvaez, sure, just because you can put a catcher in there, but I'd probably put Yoshida in there too.
All right, so we got Boston and Dazed and Confused. How about your Blue Jays? Where's Toronto going?
I'm going to put them in risky business. Yes, it's Garrett Crochet, and so they should probably be Licorice Pizza, but the Blue Jays also should be good. No, I'll put them in Licorice Pizza. I can't do it. I tried to talk myself into having them out of the bottom here, but it's Garrett Crochet, and they've been bad. Put the Blue Jays at the bottom.
Yeah, I'd have I mean, if the only argument you can make, I suppose, is nobody's playing them. That's the best argument you can make. All right, Mets, Chicago. We talked about this earlier. Weather Edge is telling us the environment, much like it was yesterday, and yesterday they beat it. They found a way to overcome, but still a 7 total with the way things are. It's cold, chilly in the 60s. Winds blowing in pretty strong from left center. And we're looking at a 7 total. Chicago, the slight favorite here against the Mets. Tong versus Matthew Boyd. I don't make enough lineups where I can justify playing these offenses. That's kind of where I'm at right now. By the Alex asking about Duran and Cash. Yes, Duran and Cash feels like a good play to me.
On the road, isn't Duran the center for the Pistons?
You know what? Maybe.
I could be wrong too, but I think Duran is the Pistons center and Duran is the Red Sox outfielder.
It's Jarren Duran, like the band. Okay, maybe it is Jarren Duran. I call him. I don't know why I call him Duran. Maybe it is because of the guy in the Pistons.
The Pistons center. You're getting ready for basketball.
Yeah, I was listening to a basketball podcast earlier today, actually. Okay, so Mets, Cubs. What do you got?
In reference to that question, can you play him in cash? Sure, absolutely. 4,800. No problem at all with Duran as a cash game play today. I think he's a very strong option. In terms of Mets and the Cubs, because of the weather, I'm going to put both these teams in risky business. They don't hit the Blue Jays and White Sox tier of just don't do it. I think if you're playing a lot of lineups, because these are 2 very good offenses, doing their best to fight for playoff spots, beatable pitchers on both sides. I think you can play both of them. I do like the Mets more than the Cubs if I'm only picking one, but I'm going to put both of these teams in risky business. Strictly you're playing 150 lineups, get a little bit of exposure. Other than that, I don't think you want to get there. But Boyd struggling lately, Tong young and can get beat up. 2 good offenses. If it weren't for the weather, I'd put them in Dazed and Confused or above. With the weather, I think they fit in risky business as not great, but you still can do it. Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel as well. Probably going to be avoiding that game as far as the hitters. And yeah, now I'm just thinking about, I didn't realize how close their names are. Jalen Duran and Jarren Duran. Yeah, just never really pieced that together in my brain, but that's probably what's happening. If I needed an excuse, that's what I'm going with. But that does make sense for pointing that out. Okay. Minnesota taking on Texas. Do we have a Texas lineup? I don't think we do. I'm giving it a refresh. Not just yet. No. Jacob deGrom, last start of the season, taking on Taj Bradley. Bradley's been pretty rough these days. Texas is a -200 favorite with deGrom. on the bump. We saw Jock Jams lead off yesterday, and we're projecting the lead off once again against the righty. He did go yak. Yeah, he's still cheap. He's been cheap all season long, kind of justifiably, but still has the power to bang one out for a cheap homer. Where do you want Minnesota and Texas?
Jock Peterson, a clear cash game option today. Texas is super cheap if you want a team to stack up. I think I'll put them in dazed and confused. Not like projecting great, but like you said, Bradley absolutely can get beat up, and they're just so cheap that this is how you play a Garrett Crochet, Blake Snell lineup with the full stack, maybe even get Aaron Judge in there, and you can do that by just playing playing Texas today. So I'm going to have them in tier 3, a borderline tier 2 team for me. Minnesota, I'll put in risky business. I don't think we get much DeGrom today. I think he could get pulled after 5 innings max. And so with that being the case, I think the Twins aren't a target for me. But with DeGrom's high ownership, they're super low ownership. Outside of Buxton, they're incredibly cheap. I think they're viable if you're playing a lot of lineups.
We got our guy Tim in chat saying now he's listening to Ordinary World. We have, let's see, also Hungry Like the Wolf getting a shout out there in the chat from Power. TJ, are you aware of, are they in the rotation? Are you a Duran guy? I was never a big Duran guy. I'm aware of their existence, but never really, yeah, they're on whatever, not going to change it per se, but never really did it for me.
Not a big Duran guy, but there is a sequence with Hungry Like the Wolf in my favorite Paul Giamatti movie. Your favorite actor and my favorite Paul Giamatti movie has a Hungry Like the Wolf sequence, Dean.
What is your favorite Paul Giamatti movie? I'm Not Drinking Merlot. Is that movie? Is that what we're talking about? Or are you thinking of a different movie?
We're talking about Big Fat Liar, Dean.
Oh, my TJ, honestly, I want to get off and walk off the podcast. You're telling me Big Fat Liar is your favorite Paul Giamatti? He's probably so ashamed of doing
incredible
that
film.
You mean it's not Big Mama's House? That's your favorite Paul Giamatti movie?
I bet Steve likes Big Fat Liar.
Oh, come on.
I commented it, but YouTube doesn't want to show it.
What did you say? You can
I typed Big Fat Liar, but it's not popping up.
Heck yeah. I knew like that is a movie that would have hit both of our childhoods right around the same time.
Don't even I've seen it, but I don't remember that scene, but it fun I don't know how to say that. Funny enough, I knew that's what TJ was gonna say. I just knew that's what it was gonna be.
Oh my god.
Frank Muniz and Amanda Bynes just doing great work with Paul Giamatti. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Sideways is the best Paul Giamatti movie for the record. I couldn't quite get the movie for some reason in my head. I had to give it a quick Google. The Holdovers is actually really good. Have you seen The Holdovers? You probably saw that. It came out a couple years ago.
We watched that as a Pick 6 movie.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Not my style of movie, but it was a good movie.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. He was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Did you know that? There you go.
That's a terrible movie, but he was playing a Russian dude in a rhino suit.
Okay. Oh, he was a villain, right? Yeah, he was a villain. Yeah. I do remember this vaguely. Is that the weakest Spider-Man movie? I think it's the weakest one of it that's been made.
Yeah, that or Spider-Man 3. Like, the conclusion of Tobey and Andrew's franchises were both pretty weak, which is why they were the conclusions.
All right. Moving along. Again, crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. Still waiting for some more lineups because we have a lot of late games on the West Coast. Let's see. Okay. Kansas City and the Angels, 8.5 total. Kolek versus Kikuchi. What do you got?
Sorry, Obi wanted to come say hi. Yeah, I think both of these things are interesting for tournaments. Like you said, this Angels lineup is kind of nothing to be thrilled about, but especially as a mini stack, I think they are in a very interesting spot. They're a bunch of fly ball hitters who, yes, strike out a lot, but they're facing a ground ball pitcher who doesn't strike people out that much. So the ball should be in play. I really like Joe Adell, Taylor Ward, and then like if you want, you can include it as a stack of Yon Moncada, Nolan Shanuel, whatever. But in particular, Adell and Ward, I actually think are really strong plays today. I'm going to put the Angels in dazed and confused. Just going virtually unowned. Like you can get Joe Adell for sub 5% ownership. He's been smashing home runs all year long. Cooled down a little bit lately, but we know he's still got that power. And then on the Kansas City side of things, ballpark upgrade for them. Kikuchi has given up a ton of walks and a ton of runs this year. He is a guy that is lights out sometimes and absolutely trash other times. Lately, he's been trash more often than he's been lights out. And so I think the Kansas City is a very strong stack today. However, they're also picking up a decent amount of projected ownership. I'm going to put them in the departed. I want it, like, if they were super low owned, they would be in the prestige for me. But with their ownership, I was kind of even considering going dazed and confused, but I'm going to split the middle and go the departed.
We had Yaz and Jensen projected to play. They're not. Caglione is in there. And is Luke Male in their lineup? Is Luke Male a Kansas City Royal? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay, so Luke Male, you must be doing the catching, and I assume Sal Perez is the DH. Yes, a little bit different iteration for Kansas City against the lefty. We assumed that Caglione will be sitting. By the way, the chat, Keith's saying he walked out of the theater and got his money back for Spider-Man 3, by far the worst. Spider-Man 3. And Mr. Gerg is giving me the business for saying I'm giving snobby movie takes. And I'm sorry, if you want to call it snobby, but I stand by Big Fat Liar not being Paul Giamatti's greatest movie. I just refuse to believe. You just switched out dogs. That's a new dog, right?
This is a cat name.
Oh, okay. Well, the picture's not that big. I
didn't put them out. They're actually both here.
Okay. All right. Oh, look at that. They get along just fine. They get along swimmingly?
Not so much. Shadow the cat likes to really torment Obi. Obi's he's our little sweet little beta guy. Like, he's very submissive. He survived in the wild for 5 years before he was rescued, and he did so by like doing whatever any other being around him required, and so he gets beat up all the time by Shadow.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Brian in chat says Dean is a great host, but doesn't know the difference between dogs and cats.
The picture is really, I don't have the same size screen you guys are watching, to be fair. So I couldn't quite tell. It's just, I was looking, I could tell you swap something out. And I know you have a variety of animals at your disposal. So I just assumed there was another dog that kind of came out of nowhere. Okay. Dodgers, D-backs, Ryan Nelson, Blake Snell. No Dodger lineup just yet. D-backs have Marte, Perdomo, Carroll, Moreno, Blaze, McCann, Tawa, Vargas, and Barossa. Dodgers have a 4.5 team total against Nelson, who's fine. The Dodgers, of course, are still pretty good. Muncie's really cheap on FanDuel. He's like 3-1 over there. Seems a little bit too cheap over there. And we're projecting Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Muncie, Teoscar had a big game yesterday, Conforto, Edmund, Pajes, and Rutvet. All right. Dodgers, D-backs. What do you got?
If you Google Paul Giamatti, what do you think the order of movies he's billed as is?
That's a great. Oh, so it's a game that I've played before. I bet on before. If you go to IMDb, IMDb like shows like 4 movies. Is that what you're asking? Like, what 4 movies are they showing? Because it's weird. Sometimes it's curveballs. But I would say Private Parts, Howard Stern. Is that one of them?
So it's different on IMDb. Google actually has one of these now too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, because I just go to IMDb for the 4.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of like, this is the 4 places you might know them from. Is it a different shuffle?
It's different than IMDb. For Paul Giamatti on Google, it's
Sideways.
The Holdovers 1, Sideways 2, Big Fat Liar 3.
Yeah. Well, different demographics, I suppose. But yeah, I never saw Big Fat Liar, so I guess I can't say I just assumed
It's
it
a
was
kid's
terrible.
movie, but I do remember it being a kid's movie I watched as a kid and loved when I was watching it. But I don't think
Wasn't
I've
he
seen
blue?
it in 20 years.
Did he like turn blue in that movie?
Yeah, Frankie Muniz put blue skin dye in his shampoo and body wash.
Oh, okay.
Great stuff.
He must have been so mad at his agent the day that happened on the set. But all right. Well, Dodgers, D-backs. What do you got?
I'll put the D-backs in risky business just because there are times that Blake Snell is really bad. He is one of my oh yeah, that's a great point. Steve says I thought it was in the swimming pool. It was in the swimming pool. He went for a swim, but they put the blue dye in there. And so the skin dye was from the swimming pool, and his orange hair was from he put orange hair dye in the shampoo. That's what it was.
Okay.
But yeah, Arizona, I'm going to put in risky business just because Snell can be really bad sometimes. He's one of my favorite tournament options tonight, but we have seen on occasion he just absolutely gets blown up. So I do have Arizona in risky business. And then the Dodgers, I'm going to put in the departed. I don't think they're of the same quality tonight as the Yankees. Ryan Nelson is a good pitcher, and we're seeing some high ownership on some of these Dodger bats today, and so I'm going to put them in the departed, but they were close to a dazed and confused team just because of ownership on some of their higher end bats.
Just got the Rangers, by the way. It is Jock Peterson leading off once again for Texas. Smith, who was scratched yesterday. Young, Tellez, Osuna, Duran, jeez. McKinney, Heim, I've learned nothing, and Hellman. Hellman in the 9-hole. 3 more games to go. We have Colorado and Seattle. Colorado with a 2.5 team total. Man, that is paltry. Tanner Gordon, monster dog tonight against Luis Castillo. Castillo is a -300 favorite. Seattle rolling out a Rosarena, Big Dumper, J-Rod, Naylor, Polanco, Suarez, Canzone, Robles, and Crawford in the 9-hole. Seattle versus Colorado. What do you got?
I'd love to put Colorado in risky business just because of how highly owned Luis Castillo is projecting, but I just can't do it. Like, tough to get a bigger park downgrade than Coors Field to Seattle. The Rockies are already really bad. They have 2 lefties in that lineup. Like, at least, I don't even care if they're bad lefties. If they were more lefties in that lineup, I think you could take a shot on like a leverage stack. But no, I just can't do it. I do think Mickey Moniak is an incredible one-off today. $3,800 leading off against Castillo. I think Moniak is a really good tournament one-off. I just can't play this stack though. Seattle, I have in tier 1. They're in the prestige. Cal Raleigh on 1A and 1B with Aaron Judge is the best spend up of the night. I think this is a awesome spot. Terrible pitcher. They're not going that highly owned like Julio Rodriguez. Sorry, I was thinking J-Ram. Julio Rodriguez and Randy Rosarena, Jorge Polanco. They're picking up a little bit of projected ownership, but as an entire stack, I think they should be much lower owned than, say, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Royals. And so Seattle, one of my favorite stacks of the night, and I think they're kind of 1A, 1B with the Yankees.
There is one game going on, playoff implications, San Diego and Milwaukee. Merrill just had a homer to tie it up. Milwaukee and San Diego. San Diego still has a chance to chase down the Dodgers to win that the NL West. I think they're 2 behind in the loss column, if I'm not mistaken. All right. St. Louis, San Fran. No San Fran lineup just yet. It's JT Brubaker taking on Sonny Gray. For St. Louis, we got Donovan, Herrera, Burleson, Arenado, Nootbaar, Sajasi, Pajes, Walker, and Scott II. Cardinals, Giants, tough ballpark, kind of a coin toss here. Both these teams have a team total less than 4. Where do you want to put St. Louis and the G-Men?
I'll go both these teams in risky business. Don't have much interest in getting to either of them, but if you're playing 100 lineups, I think you can keep both of them in your pool. I like the Cardinals a little bit better than the Giants, but terrible park for bats. Good pitcher on one of the sides. I don't feel a ton of need to get to either of these teams.
It does seem pretty uneventful for the stuff that I focus on, the single entry stuff, so I'm probably not going to get there on either side when it comes to the hitters. Reminder, hit that like button. The more times you hit that like button, the more times Spidey fires off a Spidey bomb. Where are we at for Spidey bomb number 2, TJ?
Let me double check here, do a quick little refresh on the YouTube. Remember the good old days where YouTube would actually just update the like count as you were watching, and now you got to refresh to see it?
What is that? What's going on there, TJ?
I don't know, but we're at 75 likes, so 25 likes away from Spidey Bomb number 2 to go along with Isaac Paredes at 425.
The chat is talking about Holes. I think that's another movie that's like I just sort of missed because I'm of a different generation. I know it was a big time. It was a book that a lot of people read at the time. Were you a Holes guy? That was LaBeouf, right? Was that Shia LaBeouf?
That was Shia LaBeouf. It was good. Like, it was fine. It wasn't that formative for me personally.
Okay, because I know some people like that's like a One of those movies they point to, like the movies of a generation, that kind of thing. Did you read the book?
No.
I'm not going to shame you if you didn't. I know some people are like, the book was better. You like those people, TJ? Are you the book was better guy?
Well, it depends if the book is better or not.
But just the people that always say that, they're just telling you they read the book. They're not necessarily thinking the book is actually better. It's just their like workaround. But just so you know, I can read. All right. Let's see. Producer Steve read the book, loved the movie as a kid, probably saw it 5 times. There you go. All right. The last game. It is Houston, the Athletics, 9 total. It's Hunter Brown taking on Luis Severino. Once again, we're not projecting Pena to be in the lineup. He hasn't been in the lineup the last couple of days. Very important game for Houston. They're jockeying for position to try to make their way into the playoffs as a wild card. Hunter Brown, really good pitcher, tough ballpark. Kind of mentioned that. 9 total. They are a favorite at -132. How do you have the Astros and the Athletics on your board? I think you're on mute, TJ.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to be honest. I just got a trade offer for NFL that really threw me off.
What is the offer?
I would give up Matthew Golden.
Okay.
And I would receive. It's a dynasty draft.
Oh, you're a dynasty league? Look at you.
Inclusive of next year. Matthew Golden, I would give up, and I would receive Xavier Worthy and a 2nd-round pick in the rookie draft.
Okay. What is a 2nd-round pick in the rookie draft worth? Like, give me an example.
I have no idea. This is my first time, but like.
Okay. Like the 12th guy in the draft that's a skill position player or something like that? Okay.
Yeah. I
So
mean, we want Xavier Worthy more than Matthew Golden, don't we?
I don't know. Like once Rice, isn't Rice the clear one if and when he's healthy? Golden's getting a lot of deep shots for Green Bay. I think he's going to be the number 1 guy eventually for Green Bay, but I'm not the guy to answer that. You know, ask Daigle tonight or Rebar.
I will. I'll ask the crew. I'll ask the Pick Six crew before we hit the accept button. The question was this last game on the slates, how are we ranking Houston and the Athletics? I'm putting Houston in the prestige. Houston is my top stack on the slate. From a price considered standpoint, like from raw points, I think I like the Mariners and Yankees better. Price included, really, really like the Astros. So they go up in tier 1 for me. Athletics, I'm going to put in dazed and confused because even though I love Hunter Brown for tournaments, this is still a team with a lot of power in a minor league park with the best weather on the slate. So I really don't ever like targeting Hunter Brown, but nobody's going to be playing the Athletics. I think if you want to do Luis Castillo team, the Athletics are a wonderful team to pair him with because nobody's going to be playing them. So I'm going to put them in dazed and confused, and then Astros in 3. Absolutely love them tonight. They're in a great spot against Severino in a great park, and they're super cheap.
Why is producer Steve saying that Golden is cheating? He's going to get suspended. Am I missing something, or are you just making something up? I might have missed something, but Steve? Is Steve here with us? I don't know.
Maybe I saw something online that they were investigating that game that they just lost, and that he ran out of bounds on that play
against Cleveland. Which Cleveland defense, man. Shout out to Cleveland defense. They must hate the offense so much, but they did get the W. But I didn't see the play. But okay, so he was out of bounds, and it's not his fault. They didn't call it.
He ran out of bounds when he had wide open field.
Okay, I gotta see the play.
Why did he do that?
I didn't see it.
And why did everyone bet the Packers? I don't know. Something I saw earlier today on Instagram.
Must be true.
Conspiracy.
David chat said Packers never had a chance against the powerhouse Browns defense. Huge mismatch. The Browns defense is pretty awesome. They did a spectacular job. They were like 3-1 on FanDuel last week. I think maybe they have 3K, and they helped me get there. All right, let's recap the board. Recap the board here. If you missed it, TJ is watching some of the classics. Doesn't necessarily hate the 5-hole here, right? And he's just ranked 5 movies he saw recently. So the 5-hole, he didn't love Licorice Pizza. He can speak for himself. He already did, but it's not like the worst movie. The Prestige, tier 1, it's the Yankees. Houston, Seattle. Tier 2 is Departed. Tier 3, Dazed and Confused. That's Boston, Texas. The Angels, the Athletics, the most popular tier, which is kind of how you feel. There's not a lot of offenses I love in this slate, so no surprise. It's Chicago, the Mets, Minnesota, Arizona, San Fran, St. Louis. A lot of teams with some really, really low totals, some good pitching as well. And at the bottom, hanging out in Licorice Pizza, it is with who's hanging out with Haim, the lead singer of Haim. Is she the bassist? I don't know what she is. But one of the people from Haim was the star of Licorice Pizza, as well as Bradley Cooper. Well, that was kind of a cameo. And Sean Penn made an appearance. It's Colorado, Toronto, and the White Sox. That is the board. We got to hit refresh again to summon Spidey? Any more Spidey bombs for the people?
Yeah, unless they're a family band that I don't realize she is Haim.
Oh, is she? What, no, that's her name. Yeah, but I thought it was like several people.
Maybe, I don't know. I just know she's the head, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like, she's got a first name. It's not like a Madonna thing, right? I don't think it's like her name's just Haim.
No, that's her last name.
Yeah. Okay. Crunch time is fully assembled. Let's seamlessly segue. We got Derek Carty, CEO of the Bat and the Blitz. We have super pumped Dave Potts for his Browns, as well as Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. Let's do it. Let's seamlessly segue to Crunch time right now. Okay, so I'm going to
telling me, Dean, there are 3 Haims. She is one of the 3 Haims. The band is.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I said. I don't know if they're a family band, but I know she's Haim. You know,
Jonah Haim plays drums in that band.
Distant cousin Jonah Haim. Yes. I think the spelling might be a little. Is the spelling different? I'm not sure. It's close, but sure, we'll go with it. Hey, we're going to catch you guys off guard. Who wants to guess what TJ's favorite Paul Giamatti movie is? Who wants to go first on that?
Big Fat Liar.
Oh, look at this. I knew Carty would know it. Know your audience. Do you agree with that, Carty? Do you agree that it's his best movie?
I do not. I agree that he turns in a fantastic performance for what kind of movie that is. But no, I think he has quite a few better ones.
He elevates whatever's on the page. Yeah,
he does. He's one of them, or in any movie, and he's just always fantastic.
He is spectacular. What's up, Roth? How are things?
I'm good. I'm Googling Big Fat Liar as I've never heard of it. And just looking at it, I am not going to see it.
Have you heard of Paul Giamatti?
It's a kid's movie. I don't think I've seen it for 20 years, but like Frankie Muniz he was the shit at that time, right? Like he was so cool just coming off Malcolm in the Middle. How did the Agent Cody Banks movies? I was 10 years old when it came out. I think it was awesome.
You see, what you thought was the shit at 10 wasn't actually the shit, is the thing.
I mean, he kind of was. He was like the richest actor in the entire world, and then just retired at like 22.
Wait, you're telling me Frankie Muniz was the richest actor in the world off of Malcolm in the Middle? I don't believe that. That's not true. It's not
true.
He
was Russian Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise had nothing on.
He was like the highest paid actor in Hollywood for like 3 years.
This is a chop fact. Somebody's got to give us a Google.
It's just a generational divide because like you were 10, we were all like 30 when this was happening. So like we're not on the same page here.
You are not 20 years older than me.
It's close.
You're not 52 years old.
I like to pretend I am. It's more fun that way.
TJ, we got anything else before we step aside and make way for crunch time? I got to give this a Google, and I'll give you an update in chat, but I have to actually you. And I'll take the L if you're right. But I feel like this can't be possible.
I won't take the L if I'm wrong. I'm just going to keep pretending like it's true. even if I'm wrong, I'm going to pretend like it's real.
Maybe Frankie Muniz was bigger in Canada. Maybe that's what it was. I just didn't realize he was just...
No, he was a mega star, man. He was in everything. He had like 3 of his own franchises.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it a Google. I'm going to make some lineups, and I'm going to step aside and make way for crunch time. Roth, it is all yours.
Thank you. I'm Googling, is Frankie Muniz Canadian? Nope. He is not. He is not a Canadian. Just had to double check there. What's up?
I would have thought for sure.
He seems it. He's got the Canadian kindness going on.
So let me say
he's
this.
a NASCAR driver now, if you didn't know.
Yeah. TJ's gone, but
NASCAR driver now.
Wow.
A quick search says he was the highest paid child actor. Huge difference. And that would make sense.
Yeah.
That is a smaller pool to have to compete with.
Yeah. And generally they don't get paid a whole lot. That's, that's like saying I'm the best meteorologist, then in parentheses being like of sports weather. It's, it's a very different statement. What's up, everybody? You know the deal. It's crunch time. If you don't know by now, you should. We've only got like 2 of these left. 2 of the best, sharpest minds in the industry hanging out with us. Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood in the house. What's up, man?
Not too much. Yeah, we are almost done here. Which I know you'll be fine with that. Although you've had like a month of no weather concerns, so I feel like you got it pretty easy down the stretch. Good for you.
Yeah, it's been a glorious, glorious month. It's maybe coming to a bit of a halt here towards the end of the season. More on that in a bit. First, big hello to Derek Carty, the creator, inventor, CEO of the Bat X, the Blitz, and soon the Blitz X Enterprises. Carty.
The Blitz X. That would be pretty cool.
Why the Bat changed to the Bat X when you added
Backcast data, like the really like advanced kind of stuff. So I am working on some stuff for the Blitz that may warrant adding an X at some point. So we'll see about that.
Okay, I'm curious. Yeah, I was wondering if we would ever get the Blitz X. Of course, the people still clamoring for the basket. And
they are. I don't know if that's anytime soon, but we'll see.
One day, we've got time. After baseball, you've got nothing better to do. We're here, of course, to walk you through the slate, let you know what's going on. You got pitchers, you got hitters, you got weather, and all 3 of us are equipped to handle those things. Starting with the weather, which I think, long story short, and it is long story because there's a whole lot of spots where you will see some rain. I think most of these games, you're just going to play through some light rain. I'm mildly worried about a delay in New York, but not enough to do anything about it. I think you should play pitchers and hitters there, certainly. And then my biggest issue right now is probably the West Coast games, the San Francisco and Oakland, only because they're still 4 hours out. So I can't pinpoint those the way that I can the other games. In all likelihood, they work out fine, almost certainly for bats and probably for pitchers. But that's my biggest delay concern, is just simply that it's too far out to be confident in what's going to happen in the West Coast. Geez, what's the pitcher scenario like out there?
So New York, San Francisco, and West Sacramento all have viable pitchers. That's Max Fried, Sonny Gray, Hunter Brown are in those 3 games. So it does matter. They're not like the cash game plays, but
yeah,
yes, people have Sonny Gray and Hunter Brown.
Yeah,
in those late games.
My issue with it is that by the time we really know, it's going to be too late because they're going to be the only games left, right? It's not like there's a whole lot to pivot to.
You could pivot from Hunter Brown to Sonny Gray, but not vice versa. And that's it.
Okay, I see. Yeah, which could actually end up being somewhat helpful if it looks clear. Anyways, where I stand is that I think you just play whoever the hell you want. I don't think the delay risk is high enough, but that is my concern, is that we're talking about games that will have scattered showers that are 4 hours out, and I can't pinpoint the rain yet. So that's where I'm at with that. But
if we get 2 rain delays in California, I think we just call it a season.
Right. After all season of, decades of not getting any. So we'll see. We'll certainly monitor that. But that's it. That's where I'm at. I'll continue to monitor radar. I'll see if anything changes, but I think you essentially just do whatever you want on this slate, knowing that it's not quite risk-free, but it's low risk enough to just play who you want. Cheese, let's talk about this slate in general. Sans weather. What else do we need to discuss?
Yeah, slate in general, there's a ton of good pitching. And I will definitely let Carty talk first so we can just get the Louis Castillo thing out of the way. There's a ton of good pitching plus a good cheap pitcher, but like 6 really good spend up to be different. It's a ton. And because of that, there's also really not that much offense. I think offense is kind of condensed around maybe 5 or 6 teams taking kind of all the ownership. And a whole bunch of teams that you essentially cross off the board unless you're just MMing and trying to catch, the random like Cardinals game from last night or something.
Yeah. Well, I figured when you mentioned those 3 pitchers' names and I knew all of them, and you're like,
and none of them are even chalky at all.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? This seems odd. Okay, well, Carty, Cheese gave you the nod to start it off with pitchers, and I guess with Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo's the clear top guy today. Not because he's the most talented, like there's plenty more talented pitchers on this slate, but he's facing the Rockies. They're away from Coors Field. It's a huge park downgrade. It's good pitching weather. He's cheap. The Rockies strike out a lot. You don't have to overthink it too much. Like, you play Castillo in cash games, he will be the most owned pitcher on the slate, I would imagine. And then, like Cheese said, beyond him, there are a lot of other really good options here. We have probably like a tier of like 4 aces, I would say. Castillo plus DeGrom, Max Fried, and Garrett Crochet. None of them are cheap. None of them are in like amazing spots, but they're all in good enough spots where they project really well, and they will all come in lower owned than Castillo. Beyond them, there's still a bunch of pitching that's good here. You know, the mid tier has Scherzer and Sonny Gray, and then you go down to the low tier and you have Jonah Tong, who for 6.7K has huge upside, and you have Taj Bradley for 6 and Kikuchi for 6.5, and it's a slate where there's something at every price point essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, I want to bring you in. Just looking at kind of the trio of aces that Carty mentioned. Look at DeGrom, Fried, and Crochet. Crochet is the most expensive, and we have him projected as the lowest, and yet he's the dude with 3 tags. What's happening there?
So Garrett Crochet is the play for the ceiling, and really Blake Snell too. Like, both those guys against anyone could strike out 15 batters. Like, it's in the range of outcomes, but they both also have these really tough strikeout matchups, and they're like you said, they're priced up. The reason Crochet has the tags is just simple best case scenario upside.
Okay.
Like, he that no one can beat his ceiling if he's just totally on.
Yeah.
And really, like, both DeGrom and Fried are kind of more cash gamey play, I would say. Like, they're perfectly playable in tournaments too, but they're a little bit more like, these guys are going to be fine. I know Max Fried did have the magical strikeout game last week, but that's not likely to happen again. So if you're chasing that, what pitcher can just flat out break the slate? It's Crochet, or maybe Snell in a even lesser likely outcome.
Okay. Well, what are you doing? Obviously, there's options at every price point. How are you going about this?
Yeah, I desperately want to dislike Castillo, but you just can't. Like, he's just ideally suited to face the Rockies in Seattle. He's still a good pitcher against righties, and he's still a good pitcher at home. And it's at home against a bunch of really bad righties. Like, it just doesn't line up any better. And really, he should be 9K because of the matchup. So I'm playing Castillo. Like, I can't really make any case to play like DeGrom or Fried ahead of him, even though they're a little bit better in reality. Like, it's sometimes just play the guy that's the right play. That's what I think. I do like Sonny Gray a lot for essentially no reason other than it's the last week of the season. You just got to do something. You know, I'm just trying to do something. And I actually prefer it in the last week when a guy is not in an important game. A lot of people flip that and go, I want the guy who's playing for something. I get that, but also the guy who's playing for something, like the Hunter Brown, for example, or the Blake Snell, if they go out in the 5th inning and walk 2 guys, they're gone. Like, and the game is close. Like, they do have a longer leash if everything goes magically. Like, they're not going to pull the guy if he's just dominating, but I feel like there's also a shorter leash in these must-win games. Whereas when it's the last start of the season for Sonny Gray, like, whatever, if he's pitching great, just let him keep pitching. It doesn't matter.
Teams can almost treat it like a playoff type game where, you know, all hands on deck kind of thing. If the starter struggles a little bit, you pull him earlier and let the bullpen kind of go to work. Yeah.
So it just worries me. I mean, worries isn't even the word, but I think it's a factor with the teams that are playing for something. So my highest owned guy is Castillo, me and everybody else, but I think I'm over the field. And then Sonny Gray is next for me, mostly because of the price. Like, I would rather play Crochet than Sonny Gray, but there's a big price gap on both sites. And then I'm not playing Jacob deGrom. I don't by any means think that he's broken. I think he's totally fine. These home runs he's given up the last few games are probably just more fluky than anything. He's very good. But I don't think he has any real pitch count ceiling. Like they've been treating him carefully, and he really hasn't been great, like DFS wise. I would not argue with you if he was your favorite pitcher for the salary after Castillo, but I'm not going to try to play all these guys, and he's just the one that's missing my cut.
My concern with DeGrom is just like how deep they're going to let him go, because they have nothing to play for. Like they've already said that, I think, who was it, Seager and Simeon, like are not coming back, and like they debated not having DeGrom pitch again, and he's like, no, I want to pitch again. So they're letting him pitch, but like, are they really going to push him? Are they going to let him go super deep? I don't know.
Right.
I'm looking forward to when they walk out to the mound in the middle of 6th inning and he just, no, I'm not coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's how I feel. Like they definitely do not want to, like they would rather him not be pitching at all. So
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
so he's the one I'm skipping out of them.
Mhm.
I did throw some Blake Snell in the very large field stuff just because when he's at his best, which he has been the last 2 games, he's just amazing. It doesn't matter who he's playing. But same thing there. Like if he goes out in the 5th inning and walks the first 2 batters, which he loves walking people, then he's gone. So I do have that concern, as well as that it's a low strikeout matchup. As far as the cheaper stuff being cheaper than Castillo, I'm out on Scherzer. I just don't like how he looks right now. My favorite cheap guy is Taj Bradley. Just save all the salary. He got shellacked by the Yankees, which I give him a pass on that.
Yeah, it happens.
Otherwise, he's looked generally better since the Twins got him. I think he's worth $6K. And I have a little bit of Steven Kolek, although he's not the right guy to take advantage of the Angels' strikeouts. So he's more of just I think he should be fine. I would be surprised if he got shelled. And then if you want to take a shot on Jonah Tong, I get that as well. I'm not playing him, but he does have strikeout ability for sure.
Yeah. Okay. We got to talk about FanDuel real fast, and maybe it's the same set of guys in the same circumstances, but we've got, I don't know, 10 legitimate options out there. Cheese, what are we doing on FanDuel where you only get to play one of these guys?
Yeah, Castillo has a little bit less of a discount. It's still a discount. But so the ownership won't be as extreme either. I still think he's the top guy there. I'm not spreading out as far. Like I'm not playing Blake Snell or Hunter Brown. And I'm still not playing DeGrom. So I've got mostly Castillo, Sonny Gray, a little bit of Garrett Crochet, and maybe a Max Fried.
Okay. Carty, anything you want to note?
If you need to go super cheap, I'll just mention Taj Bradley is 60 to 600. I don't think you really need to go that cheap. You can get almost anything you want with Castillo.
Yeah. Carty, any thoughts on FanDuel?
Yeah, Tong is 6.5K, so he's right there with Bradley if you're going that cheap. But yeah, Castillo's still the top guy. You're still getting some kind of price discount on him. Pretty similar thoughts to DK, honestly.
Okay. Shout out to Brian C in the chat for the Tong song that he just broke out there. Very nice Cisco reference getting worked in. Very good. Okay, well, let's flip it and talk about the bats. And Cheese, now I'm thinking maybe we don't have a whole lot of options on that end since we've got a whole bunch of decent pitchers going.
Yeah, there's so many teams that I just really don't want to play other than just MME dart throwing. It's for me, the Yankees and the Mariners are way out ahead of the pack, followed by the Dodgers. And then on DK, the Astros will be chalky because they're cheap again. I've got a little bit of Royals, Rangers, and Red Sox after that.
Okay. Carty, your favorite stacks?
I agree. The Yankees and the Astros, even though the Astros are cheap, I don't think they're just cheap. Like they also project really well. The Cardinals project really well for their prices. I don't think Cheese mentioned the Dodgers. They're kind of right up there in the top tier. They're expensive, but they're also the Dodgers, and we have lots of ways to save money on this slate. So I like the Dodgers. And then after that, there's a handful of other teams you can mix and match, like Cheese said, the Royals, the A's, there's some other ones, but it's not quite as deep as it is on some other slates.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I think we can go around the horn here, talk position by position. Of course, we're going to give you some home run calls. We're going to answer your questions as well, as always. But first, let's talk about what we're doing to catcher. Carty, lead us off.
We have the high end with Raleigh and Bangaliers. I think that's what we're still calling them, right?
Yes.
And I mean, they're totally fine. I don't think you have to spend up there, but in GPPs, where most people are going to be playing a cheaper catcher, I do like both of them quite a bit today. But I think the ones from a value perspective that make the most sense are Salvador Perez for KC and Yainer Diaz, assuming he's in the Houston lineup, which I don't think we have yet. But they are both going to be, I think, really strong plays. And then I really don't like the super punt options today. Like if you have to save money, it's like Luke Malley, I guess. But I'd rather be more in the mid range if I can.
Yeah. Cheese.
Yeah, it's another day where you can play the best hitter of all time at low ownership, Cal Raleigh, or you can play Shea, Langelier, we'll say, at no ownership. Because Sal Perez and Yainer Diaz are just really good plays at a lot cheaper and should get the ownership. And then Ben Rice along with them. So I still don't have all that much Cal Raleigh. I wish I had more, but assuming you want one good pitcher, you still really can't just get very many guys. You kind of have to choose at the most one of Raleigh, Judge, and Ohtani. Or even none in some lineups. So out of those kind of chalky guys, I like Sal Perez. My random cheap guy of choice would be Jonah Heim, the drummer for that band from The Girl from Licorice Pizza.
Okay, very good. First base.
Yeah. I got to go listen to some music tonight. I don't know what this is. Okay, so I just mentioned, Raleigh, Ohtani, Judge. Like we've got these three spend up superstars on the slate. I think Judge is my favorite, except I think there's a little bit more edge at first base to use your spend up, even compared to catcher. And unless you want to play Christian Walker, which is fine, I would probably play Walker in cash. But like, I think I prefer Ohtani because I like him better than the other first baseman. After him, I Freeman is fine too. And then I think you're going down to either Walker or Paul Goldschmidt. There's always cheap darts. Rowdy Tellez is back in the lineup. I think he's a cheap dart you could play. But like Walker and who did I just say?
Goldschmidt.
Walker and Goldschmidt, yeah, are cheap enough that you don't really have to mess around below that. And I'll also say on FanDuel, I really like using Sal Perez in that spot at 3,100.
Okay, Carty, first base.
Yeah, agree about Sal Perez on FanDuel. Agree that I really like Ohtani tonight and that going cheaper with Christian Walker is probably the move for cash. I would say, aside from him and Goldschmidt, though, I like Alec Burleson for 4K. And I think Pasquantino for 1. I think they're all in that kind of same grouping. So if you want to mix it up a bit in tournaments, I think they'll both probably come in lower than Walker and Goldschmidt will. And I don't really think there's too much of a drop off. So I like both of them.
Okay, take me to second, if you dare.
Yeah. Altuve is my favorite guy at what is almost always a bad position. I think it's actually a little bit better than usual tonight. Like there are some options that you don't like necessarily like want to, like you don't hate yourself too much for playing. So aside from Altuve, you have Brendan Donovan leading off against Brubaker. I like the Cardinals stuff quite a bit tonight. India's 3-2 against Kikuchi. I like the cheap KC stuff tonight. And then on the high end, I like Ketel Marte a lot in GPPs. I don't think he'll be super owned given his price and given that he's against Snell. but he's lead off. He's got the platoon advantage. He's Ketel Marte. So I like him a lot. And then Jazz, either as a one-off or in your Yankee stacks.
Yeah. Cheese, second base.
Yeah, last night was the one chance for me to say Altuve is a good play. And of course, you got the 0 points as Altuve enjoys doing more than anything. But he is a good play again. I mean, he's still pretty cheap. But I really do like getting up to Jazz if you have the money. Both Jazz and Marte will be low owned, and they're just good baseball players. I'm playing Polanco ahead of Altuve in tournaments if I'm going in that range. But the cheap stuff is so both Brendan Donovan and Jonathan India are more they feel more cash gamey, or just where you say the team around them needs to do a lot of stuff. So if you're playing them in tournaments, I would probably pair them with at least something, even if it's not a full stack. But they're both fine. I also have a little bit of Romy Gonzalez.
Okay, third base.
It's not as exciting as it's been recently. We do have double Astros who are cheap. Seems like yesterday you could have played Correa at shortstop still, and since they actually didn't have a shortstop yesterday, they took away his shortstop eligibility. They do strange things over there with the positioning. But I prefer Muncy, Suarez, and Michael Garcia over the Astros guys. I'm fine with that whole group. It's all pretty close. And then Moncada and Bregman are in my pool at some point. And that's kind of it. I think Suarez is my highest owned, followed by Muncy, followed by Garcia.
Carty, little Eugenio Suarez. All he does is hit bombs. That's all he does.
That is all he does. I have no problem with Suarez tonight. There's always a chance for a bomb. He'll come in pretty low owned. I do prefer Michael Garcia. I think he's the top guy here. I like the Astros guys maybe more than Cheese does. They will be chalky though. So from a tournament perspective, I get not wanting to play them. Like they're not really any better than anybody else at this position, but Paredes and Correa are both good plays. The other guy that I am reluctant to mention, but I guess I have to.
You do. Do it.
Is Nolan Arenado.
Jack in a bag last night. Yeah.
First time in a month, probably. I mean, like
it might be the first time he stole a base in his life. I don't know.
In his life, yeah. But yeah, he's 3.2K. I like the Cardinal stuff tonight. I don't like Nolan Arenado in general, but it's kind of at the point where people and the market and the pricing are realizing like he's not that good anymore. And so he's 3.2K in a decent matchup at a somewhat crappy position. So I like Arenado a little bit too.
Okay. Can you catch me up? Were you anti-Arenado? Were you ahead of Arenado sucks?
Yeah.
Were you ahead of that? Or were you still, I think Arenado is good when he started sucking? I couldn't remember which way it went.
No, I thought he sucked like
He
a
never
little
liked
before
Arenado.
everyone agreed
Yeah.
he sucked. I thought he was getting a little lucky for a little while.
And you were getting so much heat for it. Everybody was mad at
so
you for that
much.
take.
Yes,
Yeah.
lots of people.
Yeah. What do you know?
And
Okay.
now I'm recommending him. So full circle.
Yeah.
And I take it back. He has 3 stolen bases this year, so the speed is back.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I mean, just giddy up.
Yeah. But where are we at? Are we at shortstop, Carty?
Yeah, shortstop. Bobby Witt Jr. is the top guy. You want to prioritize him in cash games. He's awesome. The other like expensive shortstops, there's not that many of them on this slate, but I'm not thrilled with like the Lindor, Trevor Story. I mean, Geraldo Perdomo is the second most expensive on the slate. I don't love those guys. I'd rather like have Mookie in a Dodger stack or Willie Adames as a one-off. If you need to save money, I don't have a problem with it tonight because I don't love the high end aside from Bobby Witt. You have Volpe for the Yankees and you have Thomas Sagasi for the Cardinals, who I think are both cheap and fine here.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, your thoughts at short.
We either have to go Sagese or Sagizi. Yeah, you had a whole new pronunciation.
Yeah.
We've gone back and forth on this. I
think there's
it's
been
just
10 different pronunciations of that name.
There's
They're all right.
never enough. They're all
Yeah.
good. Yeah, play Bobby Witt. It still seems like people are still disappointed in Bobby Witt this season because he was so good last year. I mean, the guy like quietly is hitting 293 with 23 homers and 37 steals. Like, and that's what people are disappointed in. Like, the guy's great. Just play Bobby Witt.
But
I think
here's
my
the
next
thing. Geez, someone in chat is pointing out that Witt is 0 for 10 career against Kikuchi. Is that a concern?
Wow. Roth, can you take that one for us?
I mean, we got to talk sample size here. We're looking, Carty needs at least a minimum of 1,000 at-bats against a pitcher before we take BVP into consideration. Tonight is the night. 10 sample size? Come on now. What are we doing? I don't know. That's what they always say. I'm doing my best them.
That was great. Well done.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. My favorite after Witt, I'm talking shortstop. We stopped at Bobby Witt and figuring out how to pronounce Segezi. Trevor Story is my next favorite guy, and my favorite salary saver is Volpe. Anthony. I don't have much. I don't think I have any bets or Lindor outside of stacks. It's fine, but at that point, I would just get up to Witt, and I do like Story a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. You get to bring us to the outfield. What are we doing there?
Yeah.
Carty has his shirt unbuttoned for the algo. Carty has Carty doesn't even have that button. It doesn't exist. He removes it from all of his shirts. It has never been.
I'm not tempted to button it up.
Yeah. It has never been buttoned in any social situation. Cheese, what do we got in the outfield?
So at the top, we got Judge and Ohtani. And kind of like we were talking about at first, I do prefer Judge over Ohtani. So if you're not, for some reason, using Ohtani at first, then I would lean Judge in the outfield. But it's also not easy to play either of them. So, that's fine not to. And if you're not playing them, the other spend ups, like it's not easy to get, Corbin Carroll or Byron Buxton in tougher matchups. So I think if you're not getting Judge or Ohtani, you're more so spending down. Stanton is my favorite in the mid-tier, along with Jarren Duran. But there's a ton of plays here. After those two, I think I lean to like a one-off Angels bat. I do not want to stack the Angels, but I like Joe Adell and Taylor Ward. I'm fine with Brent Rooker. I'm fine with Trent Grisham. There's a lot to like. But I almost just as much like Jock Peterson, who's super cheap. I think you could play Zach Cole down there, assuming he's in the lineup. You can play Dominic Canzone down there. So almost all my DK lineups have one of those cheap guys around Canzone or cheaper. FanDuel-wise, I like the Seattle guys a little more, like a Rosarena, and is easier to afford. Julio's still expensive, but I add a Rosarena to the mix of things I really like. And you also got Newt Bar down there on DraftKings. I think that's enough to mention.
Yeah. Carty, your favorites in the outfield?
She's mentioned a lot of them. Ohtani and Judge at the top. I like Rooker, I think, more than Cheese does, but I also like Duran in that mid-range. I like the Houston stuff, the cheap Houston stuff. You have Jesus Sanchez and who's the other one that I'm blanking on at the moment?
Is it Zach Cole?
Cheap Astro. Cole, yeah, Cole. As options there. I like the Cardinals stuff. Jordan Walker, Burleson, Newt Bar. I think they're all good. I like Teoscar a little bit in tournaments for a home run, and certainly in your Dodgers stacks. And I like Taylor Ward a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Gentlemen, we have done the thing. It's time to give some home run calls. That's what the people want, and then we'll answer their questions as well. Carty, why don't you give me a few names here? People that are going yard. It can be DFS, or if you like the odds, let me know sports betting wise as well.
Give me a sec to pull up the bets home runs.
Sure.
All right. So top guy for DFS, Aaron Judge, but Cal Raleigh is right there, and he is going to be very low owned tonight. So I like Raleigh quite a bit in tournaments. I like Rooker in the mid range, and find somebody like cheap enough. I guess Joe Adele is kind of cheapish. So yeah.
Okay. Very good. Cheese, you got a few names?
Carty on the limb with Judge and Raleigh. It's a homer. I like it.
I know,
bold.
right?
It's a bold
Yep,
call.
It is.
I like to make bold calls, and that's what people come to expect of me.
It is. Yes. It is way out in left field. I got three cheap ones for you. Well, that's for the stolen bases. You're playing him for the speed. I'm going to give you three cheap guys, and one of them is way off the board, just for fun. But I do actually think he's going to hit a home run. So Dominic Canzone and Jock Peterson are not really all that sneaky. The home run that you will be excited when it happens is Davis Schneider.
Okay, I will note that. What team is he on? Because I'm going to check tonight.
The Blue Jays against Garrett Crochet.
Oh,
if he touches the ball, it's gone.
Okay.
I'm not sure he can touch it or not, but if he does, it's gone.
Okay. Let's get some of these questions knocked out here. We have 16-ish minutes until lock. And of course, like a jabroni, I took down the read that I have to read. Otherwise, we get fired. So we want to read that. I do still like doing this show. Hey, you want some NFL DFS access this season? Yeah, you do. Well, we've got more bang for your buck. Combo Pro. For a limited time, get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. It's only $5 more than the NFL DFS monthly subscription. You get like 8, 9 more sports for $5 more. Obviously, you should do that. This deal will not last forever. Make sure you take advantage of it while you can. Secure that discount right there. RotoGrinders.com. That's $40 off. That's good stuff. Let's see what we got going on in the Discord. DK single bullet. Carty, your low owned stack to win it all.
Give me the Cardinals.
Okay. Does producer Steve know that thing is still up there? Is there a minimum time we need to hold it up? Thank you. Cheese. Carty went with the Cardinals. What do you got?
What counts as low owned? The Red Sox count as low owned.
Yeah. Okay. Alan says Cheese, Tong and Witt or Fried and Volpe DK single entry. It's Tong and Witt, isn't it, Cheese? It's not. Oh no.
Personally, I wouldn't play Tong in single entry. I think Carty likes him more than I do. As much as I like Witt, I would Fried and Volpe. But there is more ceiling with Tong and Witt if you're just chasing the best case scenario.
Okay. Carty, I'm coming to you. DKGPP from our guy D-Rock says, I'm stacking the Cardinals. You want DeGrom or Gray?
I have concerns with DeGrom, but I think I like him more than Gray. I do like him more than Gray. I just worry about how deep they're going to allow him to go. But it's not like Sonny Gray is like a super high upside pitcher anyway. He's, kind of just another guy that you're hoping is going to go out there and have like a good game.
Yeah. Okay. Carty, I'm just going to read this question from Alex as worded. I don't quite understand it, but I think we can maybe figure it out. It might be a 2v2v2. He says, Volpe, J-Rod, Witt, and a 2-4 outfielder, or Story and a 3-8 outfielder, DK Cash. Thank you for everything this season.
I think Witt's kind of the biggest priority out of there. I don't think you have to go to that cheap outfield tonight, but if you do, then yeah, that's the one I would say.
Okay, that would leave him with 2-4 in the outfield. Is there anything?
If you can get, I like Jordan Walker at 2.5 if you can get him, but if not, I guess like Jock is probably. Oh no, he's 2.9 now.
I just clicked on FanDuel. It's like, oh my gosh, 2-4 is great. It's not.
Sadly, yeah.
It really makes you
Yeah.
like, if that's literally your choice, it makes you almost change the answer when you see what's down there.
Yeah.
It really kind of does. There's really nothing. If it really is 2-4, then you probably have to go with one of the other options. Max Schumann is the best option, and I would not be playing Max Schumann.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese DK large field tournament, Naylor and Kurtz. And what do the great minds and great personalities think of using a mix of A's and M's for all of my batters with 2 pay down pitchers? Cheese.
So I love the Mariners. I think the A's are better for power hunting, a bat here or there, than full stacking, although it's fine. Like, so with the beginning of the question, Josh Naylor or Nick Kurtz, like if you didn't have all A's and Mariners, I would say like Nick Kurtz would be the shoot for the moon upside guy, but it's a different price range. I would be fine using A's and Mariners if it's more Mariners with like maybe Rooker and Kurtz or something like that.
Okay. Very good. Let's see. By the way, make sure you're hitting the thumbs up for us. This is still 6 months into the season, still free. And all that we're asking is that you hit that thumbs up for us each and every day, including today. Right now. Carty Brian says, is Ben Rothvet a lock tonight?
That's an inside joke for me. I don't know if Carty is aware of
sorry.
the Ben
All right.
Rothvet love.
I'll start
here.
directing that at you, Cheese. My bad. I like how it's consistent.
But
Spending it every day.
let's ask Carty if Rothvet is a must play.
Carty is
I'm gonna say no.
No, not quite. Doesn't quite make the cut. Let's see. Scrolling down. Here we go. At the util, Carty, Naylor or Eugenio Suarez?
Doesn't give a format. I assume it's a tournament. I would say Suarez.
Okay. Cody says, Cheese, you want Zach Cole or Randall Grichuk?
Zach Cole.
Okay. Tom says, hey, everybody should be hitting the like button. This stream is great, very helpful, and a great bunch of guys. You're not wrong about that. He says, hit the like button, or hit the like or take a hike. I don't know who came up with that, but
Pretty sure that was you.
I think someone in the chat said it and I stole it, but I do like it. It was Hammer in the chat. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Good old Hammer in the chat. Hit the like, take a hike. Let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, we did that one. FanDuel GPP. All right, Cheese. Here we go. Outfielder, 2,700 or less. I've got Sanchez in now.
Okay. Yeah, this is where I clicked first at the $2,400 question. It's pretty good. If you already have Sanchez, I would add Cole with him. Otherwise, I slightly prefer Canzone over Cole, straight up.
Okay.
But that's what I would look at.
Okay, great. We Major says, Cheese, FanDuel, your favorite pitcher and stack in a tournament. Thank you.
Pitcher is tough on FanDuel. I guess I'm going to say it's not Luis Castillo.
And to be clear, let me interject because I just saw this. This is a single entry. So it's not like he's trying to beat out 8 billion people.
Yeah. Okay. Again, like I'm telling you, this is more just random for no reason gut call. I would do Sonny Gray. If you're concerned about the Luis Castillo ownership, which I am in single entry on FanDuel. And stack at that point. So if you're not playing Castillo, then I think you can stack the Yankees.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Shout out to producer Steve, who says shout out to Roth for shouting out the chat.
It's a lot of shout outs, right?
Yeah, a little shout out inception happening right there. Peter wants to know if I'm sure I'm not Canadian. I am very kind, like obnoxiously so, but I am not, to my knowledge, Canadian. Do Canadians have any other defining characteristics other than being incredibly kind?
They love Tim Hortons.
They love Tim Hortons. Is that a donut place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they all love Tim Hortons. TJ can confirm for us.
We got to check.
Isn't that like a Denny's, like a Canadian Denny's?
I think it's more of like a Canadian Dunkin' Donuts.
That's what I was picturing, but I'm
not really sure.
All right,
I've
TJ,
never been in one.
we need to talk to TJ about Tim Hortons. Let's see. DK's single entry Cardi, Arenado, Christian Walker, or Mikhail Garcia and Tellez. Last pieces.
Repeat that one time for me.
It was Arenado and Christian Walker, or Mikhail Garcia and Tellez.
Okay, so just say to yourself, which one of these guys is a lefty masher? And then you pick that one. So it's clearly Arenado and whoever he's with.
Yeah. Arenado.
No, but it is actually that pair.
Yeah. Okay. Odds of the Astros giving us a lineup sometime before lock.
Before lock? No. I mean, that's like just a couple minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully they give you one before they start playing baseball.
Yeah. Oh, Javier in the chat, by the way, says it is kind of like a Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you, Javier. And if there's anything else the Canadians are known for, other than being extremely kind, let us know. It's the only thing that really comes to mind. 2 pitchers and 2.
Go ahead. My comment was not important. Go ahead.
None of it is. We're 6 months in the season. Geez, nothing's important anymore. Cloud says, Cardi, 2 pitchers and 2 stacks on DK.
Just any 2 that I should pick.
I suppose he's looking for like a full lineup. So basically,
so like pitchers and like okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
So build this whole lineup is what he's saying.
Sure. Let's go Luis Castillo and Jonah Tong with Cardinals and Astros.
Very nice. Okay. Geez, 3 lineups on FanDuel. I'm thinking 2 Castillo, 1 Gray. Is that going to rock the boat tonight?
I would be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. DK Cash, Cheese, India, Suarez, or Meadroth and Mikhail Garcia. DK Cash.
India Suarez.
Okay. Maple syrup. A lot of maple syrup in Canada. That's a good. What happens in Canada? A lot of maple syrup.
Poutine too.
Yeah, poutine and syrup loving. Those are good ones. Hockey, of course. Yeah, should have thought of hockey. Brian says, so Cheese, just to be clear, Wortfit is a no. He's absolutely.
It's awesome. You know what's amazing? He has 1 home run this season, and it was last night. So he's hot.
I was going to say it was just recently.
How do you fade the hot streak?
Yeah.
That's his 1 for the year. He has 9 career home runs now over 4 years. Not a priority.
Yeah. Okay.
Fade the hot streak.
Rocky Raccoon, who always has just the most creative questions, is so valuable, especially this late in the season, says, Mr. Cartwheel, how you feeling about a wraparound, dong to dong, back to back, double lefty stack on the
I don't like the sound of this at all.
Dong to dong was an interesting start there. Scott to Donovan, you like that?
I like the Cardinals tonight. I don't like the verbiage there, and I don't think you have to go so. I don't think you have to wrap around. I think you can just play a normal Cardinal stack, and that's plenty different.
I mean, it wrap around, dong to dong, back to back, lefty stack.
He does well. Like he usually comes in with a pretty good question.
It was beautiful. God. All right. DK single entry Cardi, Arenado and Christian Walker, or Mikhail Garcia and Tellez. Did we do that one? Did we do that one? We did that one, right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, because we were all aboard the lefty masher. Any final feeling on the weather in San Francisco or Sacramento? Not really. I won't know until an hour before those games, truthfully. I think you just play whatever you were going to do there. That models, just to be clear, models have not shown rain over those ballparks. They're showing it in between the 2 ballparks, which hopefully models are right, but it's close enough where I'm like, I definitely want to double check that before first pitch. Let's see what else we got. With everybody on Castillo tonight, Cheese, how about a little Colorado stack?
You don't have to do that. I mean, you can play whatever you want, but like just fading Castillo is different. You don't have to just play the thing against the chalk. I mean, if you don't play Castillo, you're different. There are other low-owned teams.
Okay, great. Let's see. Shout out to Brian in the chat who says, hey, great show. Love the free content. And good luck to everybody. Shout out to Steve who says, thank you. We appreciate you. He's saying he's getting crunched already. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the kind words, certainly all the likes. Cheese Jim says, what main 4 Yankee players would you play on DK?
It's really difficult. I don't think there is a main 4. Like, I know it would be great if there was. If salary's no thing, Judge is the first one in. I think Stanton is next. I would go Jazz next, I guess, but then those are the 3 most expensive. Well, Bellinger too. I really think we're just making stuff up to give you a best 4. That's the problem. That's the problem with the Yankees. They're so good that essentially the first 7 batters are all fantastic. I'll say Judge, Stanton, Jazz, and because of salary on DK, I'm going to say Volpe, but he's not nearly the 4th best guy.
Yeah. I was thinking that name was going to come up. Let's see. Is Fried good weather-wise? Thank you. I'm going to need to know where he is playing.
New York. That's the New York.
Yeah, yes. I mean,
it's yellow grain. That means no risk whatsoever.
Stop it, Carty. Don't do that to me, because that's what's going to get us a delay. Like, literally, there's a shower going up kind of close to there now, but it's just, I hate that a little shower is just going up, but like, you just play it. Like, even if the shower goes over New York, they'll just get him on, they'll just go play after it.
So basically what I said.
Damn it, Carty. Stop it. Because that's what's going to happen tonight, is that it's going to delay, and everyone's going to be like, you had that yellow green. I thought that meant it never goes wrong. It just means like 9 times out of 10 it doesn't go wrong, which is why there's still some yellow.
Listen, if I've learned anything from creating projections and models, it's that if you have something projected for like a 10% chance of happening and it happens, your model is really bad. It should happen 0% of the time.
How exactly? That is exactly it. How could that have happened? You said it was only 10%. That means it never happens. That's not what that means. Newt Calzone, Carty, or Jock Burleson?
Newt Calzone or Jock. I'll do Jock Burleson.
So Cloud asked you, Carty, about 2 pitchers, 2 stacks. He says, I built that and I had way too much money left on the table, so I upgraded Tong to DeGrom. You cool with it?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Or swapping one of the stacks for like an expensive one, like the Dodgers or something would work, or the Yankees.
Yeah. Okay. Angela says, Cheese, Gray and Castillo or Snell and Walker? Who do you prefer?
There must be something I'm not thinking of. I'm hearing 2 pitchers versus a pitcher and a first baseman. Give me first names.
Yeah. Or is there a pitcher like Walker, but not Walker? No, we got nothing.
I don't know. There could be a different. It could be a different Gray or Castillo. I'm hearing Sonny Gray and Louis Castillo versus Blake Snell and Christian Walker, which doesn't make sense. So I'm missing something.
Try us again, Angela, if you can. If you're still hanging out with us, we're going to bounce soon. But FanDuel, Carty, Cole or Canzone?
Cole.
Very good. Okay. Freed, Castillo, and DK Cash, Carty. Should I be trying to get to Crochet, or is that okay?
You don't need to get to Crochet and Cash. I'm fine with Freed Castillo.
Okay, very good. We have essentially done the things we came here to do. If Angela gets your question in while I say goodbye, we will most certainly get to it. If not, we're going to bounce. So for Cheese, for Carty, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We truly do. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been incredible.